Okay, so where should we start, Mallory? Do you want to tell me a little bit about the community you're from?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from the community branch in St. Mary's Bay. So I usually say it's about an hour and a half south of St. John's. So it's kind of close to Placentia Bay and Cape St. Mary's, who a lot of people have heard of. So it's in that vicinity, the southern Avalon. And it's got a population of about 230 people. We have an all-female town council. It's a very active community. We've got a lot of age-friendly programs on the go. There's usually always something on the go at the community centre, so it's a very lively rural community. Probably not what you think about when you hear rural community, just because I feel like, you know, in the media sometimes rural isn't always portrayed as being the most active of places. But Branch, and I'm sure many other communities, are definitely exceptions to that. And it's, you know, a very nice place to be.
You initiated, I believe, a panel on women leaders in rural Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to? Maybe it's. I know you mentioned the all-female council,
Yeah,
which is one of the reasons maybe that you're very aware of the role of women.
Definitely.
in leadership.
So it's my belief, really. Well, I'll go back. A few weeks ago, Memorial University, they did a panel around women in politics, and it was actually at the new farmers market location in St. John's. It was really, really nice. They invited municipal leaders as well as provincial leaders, so there's a really great mix of people there, from people like myself to Sheila O'Leary to Kathy Dunderdale. It was, you know, a really great event. Anyway, so leading up to that event, I was almost a little bit taken back, like I was a bit nervous. These people, you know, have such great stories to tell. You know, they're from big cities and they've run the province. How am I going to fit my rural experience into that? So coming from rural and having a really big, you know, sense of place and pride of place and all that sort of stuff, I knew that there was a way to fit rural in. And then it was just one day it clicked with me that female leadership in rural isn't new, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So it was my belief, and I discussed this at the panel at the farmers market, that female leadership in rural Newfoundland isn't new. There have been, you know, if we go back years ago, teachers in rural Newfoundland were all women, midwives were women, the church volunteers were women, caretakers were women. And then in Branch's case, and I'm sure many other cases as well, in the early 90s we started to see a trend of female leaders in more formal capacities, so town councillors and mayors. And I'm assuming that may have been correlated with the CAD moratorium. I'm not sure, but it may be an interesting study even to see. But so, you know, one of the things that I talked about in that panel was, you know, people say to me all the time, like, really? Branch has an all-female town council? It's so progressive. But in my mind it wasn't. And even in 2013, when they elected an all-female town council in an election, it wasn't, I don't think it even clicked to me until a couple of hours after, like, oh, it's an all-female town council. That's nice. But then I started seeing tweets coming in that Branch has elected all-female town council. So it was really neat to see that. I really believe that female leadership in rural Newfoundland has been around for a while, and it's not a new concept.
Well, one of the ways of many, I'm sure, that you've been a leader in your community is through communications and radio. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I guess it all started almost 10 years ago now. I'm pretty sure it was March 2010 when the Rural Secretariat and Office of Public Engagement decided to have a community radio event in the Cape Shore. And I don't even think there was a setup in Branch the first year. I think it might have just been in St. Bride's, I could be wrong. But I got involved then because I was writing for the local paper based out of Placentia and doing stories. So I got sent to these community planning meetings for the community radio event that was coming up. And I hadn't really heard of it, didn't really know what it was about. As part of my job, I went there to ask some questions to the organisers and stuff. Met some people from the Rural Secretariat. I don't actually think I met Fred until the actual event started. I kind of got pulled into the planning because they were like, well, you interview people all the time. Why don't you come on board and help do some interviewing? Of course, at the time, I was like 19 or 20. And yeah, at that time, I guess as many of us are, we're sort of a little bit shy, maybe not the most self-confident. But I got involved anyway and, you know, started organising interviews and all this sort of stuff. And I remember it was definitely at Fatima in St. Bride's the first day. And I remember being passed a microphone and was like, okay, you know, go interview this person. And it was just like someone flicked on a switch. It was just like, it just poured out of me.
Wow.
So, and then I had a lot of people say, well, you're actually pretty good at this. You're pretty good at interviewing people. And I really enjoyed it. Like, I learned so much about the community, so much about the people in the community that I didn't know before. And it really inspired me about the community. And even as a teenager, I guess a lot of teens in rural Newfoundland, you're kind of told even growing up that, you know, you can't stay here. You have to go and move on and get a career. There's no career here. Mm-hmm. So that experience kind of reinforced to me that, wait, there are opportunities here. There are people doing really cool things. So then the next year, I guess that event must have went over really well for the Rural Secretariat and Office of Public Engagement. And I kept in touch with Fred, and I believe it was Michelle Yetman at the time. Mm. So the next year they did another event, and the next year they did an event. And then before long I was like helping write grants that would give us some funding to do another event. And of course the people just latched onto it. Branch and other communities along the Cape Shore have such a fierce, proud place that I guess we like hearing ourselves, and you know, we like mirroring the community. And the really interesting part was that as it was webcasted, people from all over the world, like I know people were listening in Alberta on their iPhones from like the oil fields and all that
people
sort of
that
stuff.
have lived in Branch before.
Yeah, or any type of connection. So that was really neat. And I guess there was a by-election came up in one of those consecutive years that there was an event. And so I ran for municipal council and got on council, and then I got interested in social issues, and then I applied for social work, and it was just kind of a ripple effect.
Okay. So then you also were part of a network of people involved in community radio, right?
Yeah, so
Across
there's
the
a lot of people in the province have similar experiences to me in being involved in community radio, and we formed a network, I think, in 2011 about all the community radio volunteers in the province, and how are we going to keep connected, and are we going to share information, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and that has been really neat. So once a year we have this conversation again during a special event where we connect and talk about what's on the go in our communities, exchange information, and that's been really effective. And it's such a grassroots group, like there's no funding for the group, but we're also passionate about the cause in our communities and rural, that it works really well, and we've really learned a lot from each other.
I think it's been an important part of this event as well.
Oh my God,
yes. Sort of step back and think about all the ways that participatory communications has helped contribute to this event. And
it's been such, it's really ironic almost in a sense, because one of the themes that has arisen for me in the circles that I've been involved in is, and we talked about this at the beginning, was how rural Newfoundland is now portrayed in the best light sometimes in media. But if you look at local media, you know, things are happening. Because in local media you're reporting on who won an award, who has moved, you know, who has, you know, opened a new business and that sort of stuff. So having participatory media was such a brilliant idea for this event, because I think participatory media is one of the solutions to creating a new rural attitude and a new rural story. And the interesting part is there's a group of people here who are all interested in that and are willing to work together for that, and they've been exposed to participatory media here this weekend. So I'm feeling very optimistic that we can really, you know, do something, make a solid step forward in changing the story and rural Newfoundland.
Is there any particular story or lesson or takeaway from the event that really stands out for you this year?
It's really heartwarming. And I mean, it's a really critical part of my own life, really, about rural Newfoundland, and seeing that other people are as passionate or even more passionate in doing like really such cool, innovative things really just hits home for me. And it's been such a positive experience. And even staying here in the Cottage Hospital with so many like-minded people, being a part of this community for a few days, which is lovely. I absolutely love Norris Point. You know, it's been incredible, and I can't even think of one bad thing from this past few days. It's just been so good.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add?
I feel like I've talked a lot. How have you felt about the event?
we'll turn the table.
Yeah.
I've loved it, and a lot of the sort of, you hear this, a lot of people saying the same things, because I think it really has been a great mix of people that are inspiring, because everyone's active and involved in their own way, whether it's myself from the university, being really interested from, I think, passionate from a rural area, so I'm passionate about rural communities.
Where are you from?
Clinton, Ontario.
Okay.
It's a farming area in southwestern Ontario, yeah. so I have a personal connection to rural, but also an academic interest in rural communities in the future. So it's been really great to be in a room with people who are also passionate about the future of rural Newfoundland and Labrador, and to hear the positive stories as you said, and to hear that people want to keep it going too, and to sort of try to build the momentum and sustain it, which can be very difficult. So part of me is already struggling with that. How do we keep it going? There was an interest in continuing to share through email, talking about what the best communication avenues are, and trying to figure that out. I think I heard the message that it needs to be diverse, because certain people want to communicate by email, others maybe prefer some kind of print publication or radio. So I guess the wheels are turning about how to keep it going, how to make the most of this great experience that we've had over the last few days. But I've really enjoyed it, and I want to go make some rope after this too.
I do too. I haven't had a chance yet, and it looks really exciting. I went to take a picture the other day, and they were like, "No, wait till we get some more things done, because right now it looks like a gallows." Because they just had like one rope over the wood. But I'm really excited about that, and I want to see the loom, and I'm feeling really energized after this event.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't wait to get back home and write a little reflective piece about this, and really start to think of some concrete steps of moving forward, taking what I've learned this week, contacting people who are interested in similar things as me, and even still like staying in touch with a big group and just moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way, thinking about what's my piece, how can I contribute, how can the university contribute to some of the solution ideas that were raised, or next steps that were raised at the end of the event. And I bet you that everybody's gone away thinking, what can I do going forward to take some of these ideas and help grow the network or enhance my community in some way. So
definitely, even walking through the halls, like you're passing people and they're exchanging emails or exchanging phone numbers, and be like, well, I'm going to text you later, so what's your phone number? And someone saying, well, you got to connect with my friend who does this, and someone else who is interested in this. So the networking has been phenomenal this weekend, and it's really, big kudos to Brennan and Joni for bringing this such a diverse group together, but also a very similar group of people.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good talking to you.
Yeah,
on the
thank you
radio.
so much. Yeah, it's
or on the video.
Yeah, it's like my first time to have met you even, and I've heard your name a lot over the years. Obviously, in the community development realm. So it's really exciting to be here with people like yourself, and just so many interesting people who are all working together for the betterment of rural Newfoundland.